Hi, guys. So, today we are going to talk about clocks and telling time. So, I want you to think for a minute. Where are some places you have seen clocks? Think about in your house. Think about outside your house. Do you have some ideas? Okay, can't wait to see what clocks you find later. But let's keep going on and see what's next. Why are clocks important? Why do you think they're important? You need to know what time the bus is coming. You need to know what time to go to bed. And you definitely need to know what time the birthday party starts. So, clocks are very important. And it's very important that you know how to read a clock and tell time. This is a clock. Let's talk about its parts. So, I see the face of the clock, and that's the round part. And then the clock has hands on it. On the face, there are 12 numbers. The 12 is at the top, and the 6 is at the bottom. The hands tell us different things. The smallest hand is the hour hand. That's what we say first when we're telling time. The minute hand is the longer hand, and that helps us tell what minute we're on. And the second hand actually moves the fastest around the clock. We don't always see a second hand on a clock, though. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But if you're looking at an analog clock like this one, you will always see two hands on the clock, the hour hand and the minute hand. And I can remember which one is which is because hour is a small word, but minute is a longer word. So I know it goes with the longer hand, and hour goes with the shorter hand. There are two types of clocks. There's digital clocks and analog clocks. Can you say analog? Analog. You may not have heard that word before. So let's look at the difference. Digital clocks only have numbers. There's no hands on a digital clock. So there's an alarm clock. You may have a digital alarm clock like that one. Maybe you have a watch, or your mom or dad has a watch like this that has digital time. And I know my cell phone has time like this, a digital time on it. So those are some digital clocks. Here are some analog clocks. That clock reminds me of the clock in our classroom. That's an analog clock. This Princess watch has an analog clock on it. And Big Ben, it's a famous clock in London. That is an analog clock. We are going to work on telling time to the hour. So, what I said earlier was you look at the hour hand first. So the little hand first. And what number is that little hand pointing to? The 2. So I'm going to say that first. 2, and I write it like this. And then when the minute hand is pointing at the top, we don't say 2:12. We say 2 o'clock. So whenever it's up at the top, I put my hands up and I go o'clock. So I'm looking at the 12, and I know that means o'clock. So 2 o'clock. Okay, look at the hour hand first, which is the small hand. What's it pointing to? 9. The minute hand is pointing to the 12, so I know what that means. 9 o'clock. These hands are a little bit harder to tell. You've got to really look carefully. The little hand is pointing to the 5, and the minute hand is pointing to the 12. So I know it is 5 o'clock. Okay, think about this one. Look at the little hand. Look at the hour hand. It's the little hand. You say that first. 11 o'clock. Did you get it? Ooh, this is a little tricky. They're both pointing up to that 12. How would I say this? 12 o'clock. This is even trickier. There's no numbers. But I know the numbers don't change where they are, so I can figure this out because the 12's at the top, and then it counts. 1, 2, 3. So, do you know what time it is? Let's see if you're right. 3 o'clock. That was a tough one. Okay, so now I see the digital clock at the top. It says 8 o'clock. So I need to draw the hands for my clock. So the hour hand is the smallest hand. So where is that going to point? To the 8. And if it's saying 8 o'clock, where am I going to point that long minute hand? Right up at the top. 8 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Okay, where am I going to draw my hour hand? I say that first, remember. Okay, and it says 1 o'clock. I know it points to the top. 1 o'clock. Okay, the little hand, which is the hour hand, is going to point to what number? 6. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. And guess what? It is time for me to go to lunch. So I will see you later.